Really, were pretty audible.
I love it.
You watched the premiere of the show.
I did. I love it
Live.
so much. I couldn't have never guessed that it was recording, and it was a really good thing, I guess.
I think so too. Like, I'm gonna close this door for now, just reducing the noise. We're gonna see.
Okay, open my bathroom window so the
Is
kids
it
can
closed?
pass.
It's open. Anyways, yeah. But, well, I have a lot of things to say, but you said that you want to say more things, so please just start. Say something.
Oh, thank you. I was very surprised, and maybe I should have guessed. There were a few moments that I was like, why are you saying this? And I was very confused.
But I do feel like I talk like that.
You do. That's why I was like, there were a few moments that I realized it was just like an expression they wouldn't use. The rest was like just normal. And the concept that you could just turn a conversation, like, because how many times haven't we talked about something so interesting, and I wish I could have saved that conversation forever.
Yeah. Like, a lot of times I try to, when I realize that we're about to have a really good conversation, I try to savor the moment as much as I can, and it's so hard to feel it's slipping away through my fingers all the time. And like, when I was at Bruna's house, my cousin, yeah, when I was at her house, we were having a very deep, very philosophical conversation about mothers and about existence and about separating yourself from your mother, and the whole time I couldn't help but think, I want this to be on, like, I want this to be a text that I can read. I want this to be available.
Broadcasted.
Yeah, like, that conversation was so revolutionary for me as a person that I went and I took some notes in my phone after the conversation, because if I took notes while we were talking, it would disrupt the flow. But like, the notes aren't half of what it was actually going on, you know?
It couldn't even be the juice.
It couldn't even be the juice of what happened. I like that expression. Good.
Also, something that I was thinking, as we were talking before about how our brains function differently.
Yeah.
And I just think that is so impressive and admirable that you know what was said so, like, sometimes so clearly, that you, like, maybe keep repeating it, and I have such a hard time with that.
That was so interesting that you said, because again, I keep realizing that our brains are different, and it's so crazy every time. And you, like, yesterday when we were listening to the podcast, I said, and then I'm gonna say this and that, and you said, oh, you already heard it, and I said, no.
I was there when you said.
I remember the conversation happening. And it's so interesting, because I always thought it was a thing, and that we just forget different things, right? But as a child, I have always been the type of person who, someone is telling a movie that we watched, and they said, oh, and then the character said this. And I said, no, the character didn't say that. The character said, and then I quote what the character said. And people
Impressive.
like, it wasn't impressive at the time. It was just annoying as fuck. People were really annoyed that I was always correcting people on what happened. Always. It's like, no, that's not how it happened. And then I would say a mildly different thing. But it was important that it was accurate, you know? And, but again,
like Harry Potter?
Like Harry Potter. Like, again and again, I find myself, like, questioning my own reality because other people don't remember what happened, you know? And like, it's interesting every time that you point it out, because I didn't think, again, that your brain functioned differently, and again, you proved me wrong.
It is very different.
Like,
Also, it is so incredible how much of a writer you are. Like in all over your life, history, story, you've been a writer and you write so well. And sometimes I am journaling and I'm like, I wish this would look like this. I wish that my words were not fancier, but structured better. And
That's so interesting.
And like when you showed me that text, the memories of me, of moi, it's so well written, so well thought, and even so that it's like how long did you think before writing?
I want to say something.
I know it's not something that you're like, oh, I found out that I read. I know that you have always have history with this.
It's interesting that you say that because you're a writer yourself. You are one of the people besides me that writes the most. Like you write a lot. You have a bunch of notebooks of just writing, just you writing. So like, and I find it very interesting that you have this sort of admiration and also like questioning of admiration of my writing and questioning your own writing. And it's interesting to say the least, but and now something about my writing. One thing that I realized very early on is that I think very poetically. And what I mean is, this is why I said yesterday, I have the eyes of a poet. And I was quoting a video that I watched, but I really resonated with that video, which is, I look at things and I see a story, and I have been doing this for a while. I don't know if this is a way to try my brain's way to processing life, but it's very like a rock is never a rock, it's never just a rock. Anything that I put my eyes on could mean so many things the moment that I see it for its existence. Like literally,
like colors could be feelings.
Yeah, like, and even if you don't think you're not feeling it right now, when it's been a long time and you have never seen, I don't know, your favorite bracelet from childhood in a long time, you haven't seen it, you don't even remember it. And then one day you're throwing some things away from your room and you open a drawer that you haven't opened in a while and you get a bracelet and it's your favorite bracelet from when you were 7 and you haven't seen it in, I don't know, 10 years. You haven't seen it. So it doesn't mean anything anymore. It's just a bracelet, right? But no, the moment you lay your eyes on it, it has a story. It is the bracelet. You remember things and you feel it, and I feel like my brain does that a lot. And when I was younger, I had a phase where I had a hard time writing things that didn't rhyme. I was rhyming without intention. I had to try to not rhyme. So it is a thing. And it goes back also on when I said that I am, dramatic. That people always say that I was dramatic. I think it's just that I can't look at things and not give meaning to it. I can't look at things and not feel... I can't live in this world and not feel it completely,
It has to be the whole experience.
Yeah. And it's again and again, I feel like this is, although sometimes very exhausting to feel so many things, I have come to believe at this point that it's the best way, at least for me, to live. My biggest fear is waking up one day and realizing that the walls aren't talking to me anymore. And that things don't feel anymore.
I was reading the translation for the Je te laisserai de mots, and it is so beautiful, so beautiful. And there is a moment that he says, I will leave notes under your door, under the walls that sing. And I just found it very interesting. And he says a few other things that are very poetic. And I can't wait until I can write poetry in French.
Oh my God, right? Poetry in French is gonna be so nice.
It's gonna be great. No.
Honestly, can't wait to write poetry in Russian.
I I never thought about poems in Russian.
I have listened to lullabies in Russian, and it's very interesting because they sing of different things because they are different people and they have different lives. So like even the lullabies, it's like the stories. You know how stories from one place show the life of the people in that place, and then stories in other places show a completely different thing. Sometimes there are similarities, but they're always different. And I think like listening to songs of other countries, like we're learning French and Russian, and not looking for translations anymore, understanding it as their own, understanding what the words mean in that context, in that language, not the translation to our language. I think it is like putting yourself in a completely new narrative, like alien to the one that you live, you know, like it's like when our friends that date, one of them's blonde and the other has a beard.
All right.
You know, I'm not gonna say their names, but they went on that trip. Yeah, and they went on that trip and they met those Russian girls, and then our friend's boyfriend.
I mixed them up.
You did?
I thought it was.
I know who you thought it was.
Right.
I know it was, but no, I'm talking about these friends.
Yeah.
And our friend's boyfriend said that now he understands why people travel to other countries. He said that he never really had this wish to travel far away, but that this contact with these two girls from another country, where they had things to say that were so appalling to him, you know, that were like that he didn't expect, or like just daily things or their customs, and he was like, it's so interesting to be around a human being that was created so differently than I was, and at the same time there's some similarities that are so cool to catch also. So like, I don't know, I think a song is a little bit into that big ass world. I can't wait to like actually understand what I'm hearing, you know, not trying to look for what it means, but understand.
As it is with English now.
As it is with English.
Like when you were saying about when the boyfriend met the two girls that were Russian and how different the culture is and the language, I was thinking like wait, just a second, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh my god, I'm sorry.
I forgot what we were talking about.
It's because we were talking about how when the boyfriend met, how he said, because now, remembered.
Good
I
job.
met a woman and she has been traveling so much. She's like in her 50s and she missed a few classes because she was traveling to Portugal and then she went to Spain and with her friends and things like this, and then we had like 2 classes and today she said in next class I won't be here because I'm traveling. And I asked where are you gonna go, and she said Colombia.
So fancy.
She's traveling all around and now she's learning English, and even though she struggles with it a little bit, she's so confident. She's so confident and so happy and loves to travel.
You know, like recently, you don't know this because I wasn't here, but I have been feeling an undying need to travel. It's like traveling has been a part of my identity for as long as I can remember, and as long as I cannot remember. Like I traveled by car across the country with my grandparents when I was like 6 months old, you know? Like I have been traveling for so long. I've traveled in this country so much. And for a while now, traveling has been specifically to attend to duties. And not only, obviously, I'm going there because I love them and I want to be a part of my brother's life, but because I travel almost every month to go and be with my brother and my mom, I feel like I can't travel anymore. I don't even have energy for it, right? So it's like, I don't know. Anyways, but I started feeling like before that whole conversation with Bruna about separating me from my mother, I was already questioning why my life doesn't feel like it's mine. My life doesn't feel like it's mine for a while, maybe has never been mine, because I always have my mom in the back of my mind. What she needs from me, what will she want from me? Like, I can't not be here for her right now, you know?
And for me, it's completely the opposite. It's like, I don't want to say this, but
you will.
For lack of better words.
You don't want to say it, but you will.
Yes, I couldn't care less, I think.
Why do you think that is? What do you think made us different?
I wasn't an only child, because for a while I thought, I'm gonna have to take care of mom, but she's all taken care of. Like, my siblings are there, and I know that sounds pretty selfish, but like, I just don't feel it, and I don't really feel the need to visit even.
I think like the problem with my mom is that she has raised two only children, and that's really hard, because I already heard her saying that we went to Ilda, right? And she said that my brother is gonna be a very good man and that he's gonna take care of my mom. And when my mom said that to me, that Ilda said that to her, I immediately felt like that's very unfair to expect of him. That was the expectancy on my shoulders the whole time. And honestly, like, sometimes I just feel mad that she's so willing to put this weight on our shoulders, but also she always had so much weight on her shoulders and she had no one to share with. I'm not justifying it, I'm explaining. Like, she was a child that had to be an adult too early, you know, a child that was left alone when she was my brother's age at home, you know, like, and that had to do with hunger, had to do with abuse. Like, yeah, I mean, she is doing the best that she can, but I guess our expectations, the expectations that our parents and families put onto us were very different indeed. And that changes how we answer to it, because I have the same feeling that you describe of like, I swear it's so hard, I don't know how to explain, and I want to be different. I'm trying, I swear I'm trying so hard, but I can't talk to my mom. I have a hard time talking to her. Like, oh my god, we stay in awkward silence, and when she speaks, I just don't have an answer. She's talking and I'm like, wow. And like, the day that I was supposed to leave, we had a little fight where I was asking her where the what's the name of this incenso, where the incenso was, because I wanted to put it in the bathroom so I could take a shower and the bathroom would smell good. And she was like, não vai gastar incenso à toa. And okay, she said it like she was playing, and I kept playing. I was like, please, where is it? Where is the incenso? And then she came in, she started talking about something else. And she hates it when her mom does that, when she's trying to say something and her mom makes it about her. And that's exactly what she did. She ignored what I was saying because she didn't want to give me the incenso. So she ignored it and she started talking about something else. And I was still being playful. So I said, why are you changing the subject? I said it laughing. And then she started saying, oh, because we can't talk about anything that is of your interest, right? Beep, 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 beep. And I was like, are you fucking serious? We can talk about anything that is in your interest. you don't want to talk about anything that isn't you. And then I said, já tá na minha hora de ir embora mesmo, PPP. And my brother was really sad, and it was bad. And it's like, I don't know why she triggers me so much, but I get angry when she speaks. And it's not her fault. She's not speaking. Like, sometimes she is being a little bitchy, but I'm not talking about those moments. I'm talking about she's just trying to communicate. She's alone and she wants to talk and chat. And I'm so good at talking. I am so good at it. And at listening. You know I'm good at listening.
I know.
And I can't do it when it's my mom. So, like, we share that. I know that you said that
it's really hard to talk
it's
to my
similar.
mom.
But I also carry this burden of I have to love her. She's the one who has loved me the most. And love means sacrifice. Aquele negócio, né, de eu amo com o meu depósito. I am this freezer where my mom can open and take whatever she wants whenever she wants. And it doesn't have a lock.
A pantry.
A pantry. I'm a pantry. I love with my pantry. Oh my god. But yeah, suddenly this turned into mommy issues. It's gonna be the name of the episode. Suddenly this turned into mommy issues.
True. Really good. I'm sorry.
Nah, it's okay. We both have mommy issues. Remember the first time that you said I had mommy issues and I was so
shocked.
Appalled?
I was like, I thought we were playing.
No, I didn't. I had never put that label onto me. And now that I think about it, it's crazy.
Right?
But I didn't. I really didn't.
All the time.
It's how...
It was always mommy issues.
It was. Like, do you think everyone has mommy issues? Because, right? It's Freudian. We are born and we have mommy issues. We breathe, we have daddy issues.
Like, if you have to rip skin off your skin, it's gonna scar. It's gonna really hurt. I don't think that when we separate from our mothers, it's like chili beans, you know?
Yeah, and it's like, we don't understand. We are literally a part of her body. We are in sync with her heartbeat. We breathe through her, we feed through her, and suddenly, in a very traumatic way, we're taken out of her. And either way that you were born, I believe, and maybe I am quote Freud here, who knows, but he would have said this, like, even when you are born, did you know, for an example, interesting thing, if you are born by cesarean, it's different, but if you are born through your mother's vagina, in her vaginal canal is where you are in contact for the first time with bacteria, and we are born very close to the anus, right? Very close. And the bacteria from the mom's anus a lot of the times are going to be the first bacteria to colonize your intestines.
Wow.
And we can't digest. Our intestines can't digest on their own, so we need bacteria to survive, right?
So how do they do that in cesareans?
Well, I don't know. The babies aren't as healthy when they're born through cesareans. A lot of the times the births are pushed or they're done too early, depending on the doctor's timing, right? Oh, tem pra esse dia tal hora. Vai lá e faz.
No.
And it's interesting because in Brazil we have more than 80% of our births are cesareans. And in other places way less. I think in the United States like 5%. It's very little.
Wow.
Also,
oh my god.
it's very expensive. But it's
I was
like,
born in a new hospital. Like, I was the first baby and the only baby.
The hospital where I was born doesn't exist anymore.
No.
But I was thinking now, talking about bacteria, we have a big highway that connects our intestines to our brain, right? And like our intestines are the second brain. And we are made of so much bacteria and viruses and a bunch of little organisms that just now we're beginning to understand. And like these bacteria and viruses now that we're starting to understand how much they weigh on us, they impact on us, we realize that they can impact on depression, on mood swings, and even schizophrenia.
No.
Like a bunch of things that are, and if you think about it, like I was even watching a video essay about it early this morning, that in the past, like medieval Europe, for an example, that they were completely obsessed with Satan and demons, and they did exercise people. I'm gonna get there. And it's like, but now we know that a lot of little parasites could cause, like, for an example, rabies. It causes foaming of the mouth, hallucinations, water phobia, hydrophobia, like a bunch of things that are commonly related to demon possessions. There are other, like the one virus that we can get from cat's poop. I forgot the name, but it could, like in little animals, in rodents, for an example, it causes them to not fear cats anymore. So the cats kill them and they don't go away. But for humans, it can cause like anger bursts, and it can cause spasms, and it can cause rapid mood swings.
Oh, that's
and it's
scary.
Like, I swear to God, it's so scary. And how much of us is not us? Like we were talking about being our mothers, but how much of us, like the first bacteria comes from her, right? But how much of us is these microorganisms that are working inside of us? Literally, more than 20% of our weight.
Like what you were saying about the maggots inside how do you say a guava?
Guava. Yeah, the maggots inside of guava, it's like the maggots inside coconut. In Brazil, we have natives that eat the maggots from the coconuts. But the maggots,
talking about the maggots.
I regret talking about the maggots. But the maggots are literally, they say that it tastes like coconut because they only eat and poop coconut. They are coconut, you know? And it's so weird. Like, it's like
the cells are us.
Yeah, like I am not, and they're everywhere.
Bacteria, sorry.
They like I am not the one who is talking right now, right? I am the one who's watching. You know, you understand?
I get it.
Like even in my head.
I got another one who's talking. Then who is it?
I am not the one who's talking, I'm the one who's watching. It's like when you are told to not think about a pink elephant and you cannot stop thinking. Like, I'm not the one in control. I'm just watching it all happen. So, who am I? Like, what? What am I? I am one, like, because I do feel like I'm a collective. We've talked about this. I feel like I am a collective. And how much of this feeling doesn't come from actually being so many split cells, you know?
Fica aí o questionamento.
Yeah, fica aí o questionamento do universo. Well, it's almost time for you to go, so I think we should settle it for here. I am so glad we did this today.
Yes.
And I think we should do it all the time, anytime that we want. I think this is good for spontaneous conversation. I didn't know we were going to talk about this. My mom or bacteria.
And birds.
We didn't talk about pregnancy here. We talked about before.
No.
You lost a really good conversation about pregnancies and births. Oh no, we did talk about a little bit, just a little bit, but we started it before recording in the kitchen.
Yes.
Anyways, great. It's great having you here. It's great doing this. I want to fucking fix the microphone. Ah!